Welcome back to the Good Enough Garage. This is a different ride, right? This is my buddy Chris Morris's 1976 Corvette, done in like a 70s style, and I dig it. Nothing like a good set of Kriegers and some tunnel ram. Chris wants me to do a electric headlight door conversion and lower this thing. We're going to start on the electric headlight conversion in this episode and show you guys pretty much the whole rundown, what we're working with. We ordered an aftermarket kit, and it's a little bit different than the kit that I put in my Corvette, but it looks to be a hell of a lot easier. So I'm going to pull you guys in, show you everything we got going on, and get this electric headlight door conversion done. I'm White Wall Steve, and this is my Good Enough Garage. Okay, so first things first, I'll show you what we're working with here on the bench with this kit first. So they gave us some instructions, and I'm actually going to use the instructions this time, but we ordered this kit off of eBay as a plug-and-play system, so hopefully everything works and we don't have any major issues. It came with these two motors, which are real similar to what I got on my Corvette. I'm using late model Firebird motors on mine. These look like more of an aftermarket style motor. But they got custom arms already with them, and then these arms also have a sleeve on them for adjustment, which is really nice. And then they also have a nice aftermarket plug, heavy duty plug, looks really nice. And then it comes with this harness. So this harness has already got the relay wired in, already got the plug-ins wired in, already got the inline fuse wired in, and all you have are 3 wires to hook up. A red wire for a full-time hot, your black wire for ground, and this blue wire for a signal that goes to the headlight switch. Well, the dimmer switch. So, and they pretty much give you the whole breakdown on how to do it, and I'm going to bring you guys along while I do that. Now let's head over to the car, and we'll see what we got going on with that. So if you're not too familiar with these C3 Corvettes, the headlight doors in these originally are vacuum powered. I don't know if you could hear it, but it was air escaping when I pushed it down. These aren't hooked up at the moment. Basically, what you got is these are the actuators. These are a vacuum canister. They got 4 bolts in them that bolt from the backside, and we'll pull that out, get that all taken care of, plus all these vacuum lines. We'll have to rip out all of the vacuum lines, plug any off that are going to the motor, which I'm pretty sure they're already all plugged off because this is not the original motor, as you could tell. We'll get all this stuff ripped out, and then I did already pull the hood off. I had my buddy Marcus from next door came over and helped me pull the hood off, and we just set it up top up there. We're going to go ahead and get all of this stuff pulled off, get it to where we're ready to install the new stuff, and then the wiring should be pretty cake. I only really got to run 1 wire into the interior, which is nice. So let's get all this stuff tore apart and then see where we're at from there. So let's get rolling. Alright, so here's all the vacuum lines just off of the front where the headlights were. I think this is pretty much all the vacuum lines that are left in this thing. But let's head over to the car. I'll show you guys some things we're going to be taking off. So now that we got a lot of those vacuum lines out of the way, it's going to be kind of hard to see what I'm talking about here. But you got some actuators that are actually down here. Those are both gone. Not going to use those. Those are for vacuum. And then there's also this tank. But that tank is actually part of the frame in the front. So we're not going to be able to get rid of that tank. We're just going to have to plug off all the holes or where all the lines went. We're going to have to plug all those off. And then we'll have to get these actuators out. Once we do that, the headlight door is going to be kind of floppy once we get those out. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do to get this thing done. So we're going to pull these actuators off here. And then we'll pull these bigger actuators off from the headlight doors. So I'm going to take you guys underneath and show you what I got going on, because there's some springs that you got to take off, and I want to show you guys how to do that. There's some springs here. You got, well, this one's actually broken, so we're going to have to get a new one of those. But you got a spring here. There's another spring here. There's actually 4 springs, and then his headlight switches these are broken that tell you when the doors are up, so we're going to have to get new ones of those as well. Those are just disintegrating, but you can see over here you got 2 springs that are connected there. You also have 2 on this side. So you basically just grab those with a pair of pliers, needle nose or pliers or whatever, and you just pull them off, and they come right off. And so if you go over to this side, they don't have a lot of tension on them, but you want to be careful. And then, so this side I already got all 4 of them off, and then the switch broke too, but whatever. So we got them all off on this side. So now what we want to do is we got to pull this pin out here. So this pin's actually got to come out so that we can put all the new stuff in and get the old actuators out. So we're going to get that pin pulled out. Once I get that pulled out and get the new one installed, I'll show you what that looks like. And then we have to also make one cut in the bracket, but I'll show you that when we get to it. So let's get all that out and go from there. So I got the driver's side headlight door actuator out. So as you can see, there's just like 4 bolts there, and just those 2 vacuum hoses, and then you got that pin that goes in right here, which actually had a cotter pin in it. So if we go down here, so let's see, where's that? Okay, here's the pin. So we'll come over here. So you got the pin here. The pin's got a stopper here, so it goes on one way, and it's also got these little sleeves that kind of go in, that this kind of rests in, so because it does move back and forth on that sleeve. And then there's a hole for a cotter pin, and that kind of keeps it in place. So, and then here's those other 2 springs, and we got all my nuts, bolt, and I did have to take this little bracket out. We'll put that back in when we put the new one in. So now if we go back up top, okay, so I got this new one in here, just kind of sitting in here right now. They are labeled driver side and passenger side, so this is the driver side one. And I don't know if you could see right here, right there, I got to cut that out. So I'm going to mark it, and then I got to get out my cutoff wheel, and we got to cut that so it allows for that rod to have proper travel when it goes up and down. I'm kind of limited on time tonight, so it's getting kind of late. So I'm going to call it for tonight, and then I'll be back out here, and I'll be back out here tomorrow to mess with it some more, get that cut out. We should be able to get this all installed the next time I'm out here, and then just have to run the wiring. So I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll get this all straightened out. Try to get this thing pretty much done. What I did before I started filming was I took the rod off of the motor. I put the bracket on. I had the bolts all tight. I actually just loosened them, but I had them all tight, and I marked where we need to do the cutting. So I marked it here in blue. So let me pull this back apart, and I'll show you where I marked. Give me 1 second. So you can see right there, there's where the marking is. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out the die grinder, give that a little cut, and then we can get this all bolted in and get this side all done. Give her hell. cut, we'll go ahead and get the motor installed, the arm installed, and then I went and visited my friend Dennis Tracy over at Tracy Performance in Roseville, Michigan, and he was able to get me a brand new spring and bushing kit for the headlight doors. So we went and purchased all new stuff. Also got 2 headlight warning switches. Remember, those were a little banged up. We're going to go ahead and get all these new springs installed in here. I got them for both sides, so we'll get this side all done, and then I will bore you guys with the other side, because it's pretty much the exact same thing, just opposite, obviously. So, yeah, so let's get that new motor installed. We're going to get out all our stuff that we bought over at the Corvette store. 2 of these are like a smaller diameter but longer spring. And then these are a larger diameter but shorter spring. So you need 2 of these and 2 of these per side. And then we also got our new headlight warning switches, but we'll mess with those once we're done. And then we got the bushing kit. So, however, this bushing set covers a lot more than what we're really taking apart. We're not disassembling the entire headlight assembly, the headlight door assembly. So a lot of this stuff we're really not going to be using. All we're mainly using are these right here. These round bushings. The old ones were really brittle when we pulled them out, so I thought we could use some new ones. And it's pretty hard to just buy these. So this extra stuff we're really not going to use for what we're doing. I'll give it back to the customer. And if he chooses to do that later on a later date, we can do that. But anyway, we got our set here. We're going to go ahead and get this all installed right now on the driver's side. Okay, so not sure how well you can see or anything. So this rod here has a little stopper on it, so you can only put it through one way. Got to put this on first, and it goes like that. We're just going to take this and just kind of pass it through. Just like that. Take our other bushing and get it put in on the other side. Okay. And we are in. And now there's a hole in there for a cotter pin, so you're going to want to find that hole, get your cotter pin, put it in there. Okay. Alright. So now that's all put in like that. Now we just got to pop our springs in place. So smaller diameter ones go towards the inside. So we'll do those first. Okay. Okay, now we'll do the outside ones, which will be the larger diameter ones, and they go with the longer end towards the car. Hook up. And there you go. Now let's get this headlight warning switch taken off of there. Okay. Get that put on there. And now we just plug it right in. There you go. Okay, so this side is all set. I'm going to go ahead and get the other side done, and then when I come back, that'll be done, and we can start on the wiring. So let's get that other side done. I got the passenger side one in, so that motor is all set. Got everything all hooked up. I decided to plug the wiring in. I haven't hooked anything up to the car yet, but it's really only 3 wires I got to hook up, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I went ahead and just put this on my little handy-dandy jump box just to see if this thing actually will work properly. The red wire we hooked to power. This blue wire is the signal, so this is what would go to the headlight switch. Well, it's actually going to go to the dimmer switch down on the floor, so it's a signal switch. So when you pull the headlights, this will get power to it and stay power until you turn the headlights off. So as long as I keep this on the power, it should keep the headlights up. And then, of course, you got black for ground. We're going to touch the ground, okay? And now we're going to touch the signal. And look at that. As long as I'm holding that signal wire there, they're staying up. Pull the signal wire, they go down. So these are working. These work really nice. That's a really nice setup. So we know they work. So we got all our wiring here. Pull the jump box out of here. All I really got to do left is hook up these wires and run them, make them really nice and neat. I still got a couple things I want to do. I want to put that relay kind of up here. I want to work on that. And we ran everything with nice wire loom. Goes up through with the stock harness. Goes into the firewall here. And then in the interior, I had to get to the headlight switch, so I pulled this all back, got to the headlight switch, and I actually tapped into the orange wire coming off of the headlight switch. That's your full-time hot, and then down underneath, just tapped into that blue wire coming off the dimmer switch. And that's pretty much it. And then just hooked the ground up underneath using the existing hole for one of the vacuum line modules. And that's it. One thing though, if you're doing this on a 78 and newer that has the column dimmer switch, it's going to be a yellow wire you go to, not a blue wire. But anyway, that's pretty much it for that. So I just got a couple things to button up. I'll go ahead and get that all handled, and the headlight conversion is done. Look at that. All right, we got it all wired up. Let's take her for a test. So all you should do is just pull on this headlight switch and they should come right up. Look at that. They come up, everything works. Push it in, down they go. Look at that. Work great. Everything's working good. The headlight conversion is 100% complete. I got the interior all buttoned back up, best I could, because he's planning on restoring the interior anyway. So, got that all put back together. All the wiring's ran, everything's nice and buttoned up, and it looks really nice. All I got left to do is put the hood back on. I hope you guys learned how to do this headlight conversion from this video, showed you some tips, showed you some tricks. I'll definitely put down in the description where I bought this kit, so if you want to put it on your C3 Corvette, you can. This goes from 68 all the way up to 82. This kit will work on all them years. Hopefully this system lasts. It looks good. Everything's working right. Time will tell if it'll last the test of time. I know the setup that I put in my Corvette, which was a custom setup using late model Firebird motors, that's lasted well over 10 years and it works every time. Hopefully these work just as long too. On the next episode, we're going to be lowering this thing. We're going to do about 3 to 4 inches in the front and about 2 inches out back. We're going to really hammer this thing down. And I'm going to show you guys basically how to do that on a budget, because the customer just wants it done strictly on a budget. He just wants it to look cool. So we're going to get it done for him. So I'll show you guys how to do that. But for now, that's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell and leave a comment too, because comments really help and just kind of help me out. Throw me a subscription, and I hope you guys really enjoy everything on the channel and all the stuff that we do in the future. So, till next time, I'm Whitewall Steve, and I'll see you later.